Welcome to the world of automotive oddities. Today, we're taking a trip through time to explore the strangest, most bizarre cars ever made. From the 1950s to the 1980s, these vehicles weren't just cars. They were experiments, dreams, and sometimes nightmares. First up, we have the BMW Isetta, a car so small it makes a smart car look like a limo. Born in post-war Europe, the Isetta was designed to be affordable, fuel-efficient, and easy to park. But what really sets it apart is its unique design. Look at this thing. It's shaped like an egg, has a single front door that opens with the steering wheel attached, and it's powered by a tiny 13-horsepower engine. The Isetta was so small you could literally park it sideways. But don't let its cuteness fool you. This car was a game-changer. The Isetta's front door doubled as the entire front of the car. Imagine getting into your car by walking through the steering wheel. And if you got into an accident? Well, let's just say the Isetta wasn't winning any safety awards. Despite its quirks, the Isetta was a hit. Over 160,000 were sold, and it paved the way for modern microcars. It's proof that sometimes thinking small can lead to big ideas. Next, we have the Amphicar 770, a car that tried to do it all. Why settle for driving on land when you can also float on water? That's right, the Amphicar was a car and a boat. Sort of. Here's how it worked. The Amphicar had twin propellers and a leaky hull. On land, it could hit a blistering 70 miles per hour. In the water, a whopping 7 miles per hour. That's slower than a paddle boat. And don't even think about rough seas. This thing was about as seaworthy as a bathtub. Owners needed a captain's license to operate it on water, and it wasn't exactly waterproof. JFK famously owned one, but even he had issues. During a demo, his Amphicar started sinking, and he had to be rescued. Not exactly a great endorsement. Only about 4,000 Amphicars were made, and today they're collector's items. It's a quirky reminder of the 1960s anything is possible attitude, even if it didn't always work out. Now let's talk about the Citroen DS, a car so futuristic it looked like it belonged in a sci-fi movie. Introduced in 1955, the DS was a technological marvel. It had self-leveling suspension, a fiberglass roof, and a design that was decades ahead of its time. Check this out, a single-spoke steering wheel. And the suspension, it was so smooth you could drive over a bumpy road and barely feel a thing. The DS was like riding on a cloud, if that cloud was also a spaceship. The DS was packed with weird features. The brakes were so sensitive that drivers often slammed their heads into the windshield. And the gear shift? It was a button on the dashboard. French engineers clearly didn't care about convention. The DS was a huge success, selling over 1.5 million units. It's still considered one of the most innovative cars ever made. Next up, we have the P50, the world's smallest car. At just 54 inches long and 130 pounds, this microcar was smaller than some bicycles. It had one door, one headlight, and room for, well, one person, maybe. Getting into this thing is like trying to fit into a shoebox. And don't even think about bringing groceries. There's no trunk, but hey, it's perfect for introverts who hate passengers. The P50 had a top speed of 38 miles per hour and no reverse gear. If you missed your parking spot, you had to get out and push. Jeremy Clarkson famously drove one on top gear and flipped it over. Not exactly a confidence booster. Only about 50 P50s were made, but they've become cult classics. It's a reminder that sometimes less really is less. The Reliant Robin. A car so unstable, it's become a punchline. This three-wheeled car was designed to be cheap and fuel-efficient, but it had one major flaw. It loved to roll over. Look at this thing. It's like a shopping cart with a fiberglass body. The Robin was so light and top-heavy that even a gentle turn could send it tumbling. No wonder Mr. Bean hated it. The Robin's single front wheel made it incredibly unstable. Owners had to master the art of counter-steering to avoid tipping over. And if you hit a pothole, game over. Despite its flaws, the Reliant Robin was a symbol of British ingenuity, or maybe just British eccentricity. It's a reminder that not all ideas are good ideas. Now let's talk about the Ford Nucleon, a car that never was. In the 1950s, Ford dreamed of a nuclear-powered car. Yes, you heard that right, nuclear. The idea was simple. Replace the engine with a mini nuclear reactor. You'd swap out fuel capsules every 5,000 miles. What could possibly go wrong? The Nucleon was a product of Cold War optimism and a complete disregard for safety. Imagine getting into a fender bender with a nuclear reactor in your trunk. Thankfully, the Nucleon never made it past the concept stage. It's a fascinating and terrifying glimpse into the atomic age. Next, we have the AMC Pacer, A car so wide, it was nicknamed the first small wide car. With its massive windows and bulbous shape, the Pacer looked like a fishbowl on wheels. Feel that sun. The Pacer's huge windows made it a mobile greenhouse. And don't even think about privacy. Everyone can see you picking your nose. The Pacer was designed to fit a V8 engine, but it ended up with a wimpy inline-six. And the passenger door was 4 inches longer than the driver's door. Why? Who knows? The Pacer became a pop culture icon thanks to Wayne's World. It's a reminder that sometimes being different isn't always better. Next up, we have the Chrysler Turbine Car, a car powered by a jet engine. Yes, a jet engine. In the 1960s, Chrysler dreamed of a turbine-powered future, and this was their prototype. Listen to that. The turbine car sounded like a vacuum cleaner on steroids. It could run on jet fuel, tequila, or even perfume. But it was loud, expensive, and, well, impractical. The turbine car's exhaust was so hot, it could melt stoplights, and the engine noise, let's just say it wasn't exactly soothing. Only 50 turbine cars were made and most were destroyed. Today, they're rare reminders of a future that never was. Finally, we have the Messerschmitt KR200, a microcar with a fighter jet canopy. After World War II, Messerschmitt swapped planes for cars, and the result was interesting. Check this out. Handlebar steering. And the canopy? It's like flying a plane, but slower. The KR200 was quirky, fun, and, well, not exactly practical. The KR200 had tandem seating, so your passenger sat behind you, and reverse gear was faster than forward gear. Yes, really. The KR200 was a symbol of post-war ingenuity. It's proof that even in tough times, people can dream up something truly unique. Which of these cars would you drive? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through automotive oddities, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, keep it weird.